The dream is for people to see others and to be able to identify with each other without first making an assumption about what they're thinking about you. I think we're in an image-driven society where people are worried about how they're seen before they even worry about the story of the person that might be next to them or that they might be near. I just happen to do media, so, and I love personal interest stories. I want to know about you. Genuinely, probably sometimes people feel like it's just intrusive, and I try to scale that back. But it's just because I'm interested, and I always start from the premise of we have something in common. What is it that we have in common? Not how are we different or clearly you're different kind of thing. And the way I grew up here was very much so like everybody's different, but I wonder how, and how you grew up and what culture you're from and why you do things the way that you do them, not to judge you, but to learn from you. Okay, so I'm kind of like a volunteer extraordinaire because I love meeting people, and then when I'm off, I just hole up. But there's actually two different ones, and it only occurred to me when I heard about the themes today that I could kind of merge them. Which is crazy because it would make my life a lot simpler. But there's one called MORE, and it's the more active one. It's the youthful program at my old high school, Banneker. And it's an academic school, but it's important that academicians don't get bogged down in theory. And we've noticed, so it's a husband and wife team that have gotten together to create a nonprofit that works towards not just internships, which are kind of cursory and kind of say or attempt to say that you already know what you want to do, but in apprenticeships, whereas you could learn about whatever the skill is, and if you are really interested, you continue it, not just for a semester to get a credit, but to continue doing that thing until it's your craft. And to assume that having a craft or going to a vocational school is not academic and not based on theory is a grand assumption. That's a problem. So we have students who want to learn about getting their hands dirty and really knowing how things operate. And they go to an academic school because they're smart and they were told that's what they were supposed to do. But they don't get the experience of having both. And so now there's the program MORE, which is mentorship, opportunity, resources, and entrepreneurship, so that local business and small business would be able to thrive, but in a way that is skill and theory driven. That organization meets and we teach kids exactly how to think about ownership and think about building from the ground up. And then learning from an older generation, somebody who's been doing it for years, having that internship 4 years, like from freshman year up through to their senior year, maybe a couple years in college, to see exactly what it is they want to study. If they want to go to college, fine. If they want to go into a job, they can. And then if they want to continue with education later, they can. But whatever the combination is, that they would learn on the job prior to having to have a job to survive, so they can really get an idea of what they love to do. And then I also work with a community development corporation, which is for the largest population of people who are 50 and over. So there's a lot of skill. Like I know there's one guy who's from New Orleans who's been in DC for years, who worked on the Martin Luther King Memorial, and his craft was shaping the stone and know exactly where to do it. There's another gentleman who has a bar and brunch place in the area, but he's a master electrician and he worked on the National Monument. It's just so multifaceted, the people that have knowledge, and sometimes your children don't want to be electricians. They want to learn from somebody else to do something else, but that doesn't mean that skill has to go away. There's somebody else that you can mentor and who will become your apprentice. And so it would be great, and what I'm trying to do is match up those two groups so that there will be some alignment there and that people will have the skill for years to come.